Before we look at some test prep tips, I will go over some test taking rules. Now, I call these rules because they're not really tips and that you can choose to listen to them or not. They're rules that you must follow 100% to get the score you want. It's possible to do good on the SAT without these, but these just, like, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't follow these. My first time taking the digital SAT, I knew about but did not follow some of these rules, and I got a 1520, a much lower score than I could have gotten if I had followed them to a T. Now, let's go into a tip that you've probably heard of, and this is just answer the easiest questions first. All of the questions on digital SAT are all weighted the same, whether they're asking what's 1 plus 1 or to find the circumference of the sun. And trust me, some of the questions feel like that. They're all worth the same no matter what. This means that if there's a question that you will think you will take a very long time to answer, don't get stuck on it. On my first digital SAT, I spent 7 minutes on a single reading question that I couldn't understand what the text was saying, and that left me with 5 minutes to answer the last 10 questions. Just think about it like this, okay? What's worth more of your time? One question that you have a higher chance of getting wrong, or 10 questions that you have a much higher chance of getting right? Like, best case scenario, you spent 10 minutes on one question and you got it right, versus you spend that 10 minutes on 10 questions and get like even 1/4 of them right. That would be like 2, 3. So that's way better. So just don't get stuck on the hard questions. And this kind of goes into my second rule: follow your POOD. Now, I'm going to explain what that means in a little bit, but first, you may have noticed the digital SAT questions are in order of difficulty, or OOD, based on what the College Board thinks is a harder question, usually based on the topic. But some people are better at certain types of questions than others, so they may have a different personal order of difficulty, or POOD, than others. For example, like, you may be really good at geometry and algebra 2 for some reason, but you were playing Fortnite in class when you were learning algebra 1. So in that case, you'd probably skip the algebra 1 questions and come back to them later. And all of these rules kind of tie into each other, so you're gonna get some similar ideas. But that's good because there are just a few key takeaways that I want everybody to get from these rules. And you should just follow your POOD to do the best you can do on the digital SAT. Because you may see some people that say, you should go sequential order, or some people say, tackle the hardest questions first. Not everybody works like that. There's no there's no real, like, even I'm calling these rules, but you don't even necessarily have to follow all of these. These are just things that kind of are good for everybody to keep in their mind, and just follow them, unless if you're like an SAT master. These are rules unless if you're an SAT master. And this basically just means skipping questions that you think will use too much of your time, regardless of how the test is structured or what others say. And my final rule for the digital SAT is to just move on, which is, again, is kind of similar to what I was saying with my other two pieces of advice. Don't feel like a coward for skipping a question, okay? You should feel like a genius for skipping a question that would have taken you 10 minutes and all of your brain power and saving it until the end, okay? If you have completely mastered the digital SAT, you can finish the easier medium questions with at least 5 to 10 minutes to spare, and that'll leave you with plenty of time and energy to work on the most difficult questions without rushing to finish the last 10 like I did. This will also give you a lot of time to review your answers, but also make sure not to overthink them. Right? Okay, I, C makes sense, but D also makes sense, but A and B have a small chance. No, like, usually, unless if you found some, like, oh my god, I straight up did not even understand what this text was saying. Unless if it's like that, your first instinct is probably right. Okay, so I'm just gonna summarize everything. So remember, always answer the easiest questions first. by following your personal order of difficulty, and never be afraid to skip questions. Now, I wish all you the best of luck with taking the digital SAT and hope that you will all do fantastic if you continue along with these videos.